In this episode of the Fathergamer podcast, we talk to Cheryl Vance from Prideful Sloth about their upcoming game, Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles. We also talk to Tim Jones from Rebellion about Strange Brigade and Rogue Trooper Redux. Then we talk to the TFGP crew about their time with Dead by Daylight. Pull up a booster seat, take that 6-pack of Ecto Cooler out of the fridge, strap in, and enjoy episode 78 of the Fathergamer podcast.
Welcome to the Fathergamer podcast.
Hey there, everybody. We are going to start everything off with my interview with Cheryl Vance over at Prideful Sloth. Cheryl and everybody over there are some great people. They're passionate gamers. They're really into the craft of building games, and you know, for such a small team, they've pulled off something really kind of special with Yonder so far. I've played about 6 hours in right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I can't get too much into it till we do our review. Unfortunately, my PS4 and the network took some issues this weekend, so that review is going to be just a little bit late. But guys, if you are fans of the Harvest Moon series or anything like that, you will definitely like this game. Also, if you like games like Animal Crossing and anything like that as well, it definitely has some of the same DNA as games like that, and it is really fun. You can see bits of Pokemon, bits of everything, but you know what the great part of this is that it has its own personality, it has its own art style, and it is something that I think you should check out if you like anything in those from those games. So guys, you can actually go and get it right now on the PS4 and on the PC. But before you do that, sit down, listen to the interview, see if it's your cup of tea, and let's go ahead with the interview. Okay, I'm with Cheryl Vance of Prideful Sloth. By the way, I love the name.
Thank you.
The world's got to know, is there a backstory? Is there like some kind of vision quest that went with this, or is it just one of those things like Prideful Sloth? That's just...
So it was just, it came about a conversation between two of us in the company about what sins we would be. And over time, when we got down to trying to actually name the company, we came up with all these more serious names, and we're just sitting there going, naming companies is hard. And then we just basically said, if we got to a point where we couldn't come up with anything better, it was just going to be Prideful Sloth. And we got to that point where we couldn't come up with anything better. So there you go. We're Prideful Sloth.
I like that it's the just, oh, well, whatever. Well, this is just Prideful Sloth. Whatever. Well, I like the fact that it comes from sins too. So that's great. So, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll happily let everybody fill in who's Pride and who's Sloth. That's fine. I won't give that one away.
Well, you guys have a game that'll be coming out on PC and PS4 called Yonder. Can you tell the people listening about it?
Yes, so Yonder is an open world exploration adventure game, but we also have a lot of other fun little things to do with your time: farming, crafting, fishing, brewing, character customization, all types of fun things in there as well. But really, you know, it's just set in a world that's supposed to be very, very comfortable and feels very familiar to you. And we just really wanted to make it a nice place to be and a place that people really want to spend their time.
Yeah, I've gotten to spend a little bit of time so far in it, and I've what I've got to play is really beautiful. That's the first thing you notice is the art style. Now you guys have a very small team, and so as a game journalist, but also a dev myself, I kind of wonder why I'm hiring as many people as I'm going to be hiring for my game when I take a look at how awesome a job you guys have done. Can you go through the process of, especially having a team that small, what it's like to make a game like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we're lucky that all core founders, the three of us in the company, have been doing this for a little while now. I think each of us has gotten over 10 years in the industry. And some of the last titles that we had that we were working on were things like DMC, Devil May Cry, Batman Arkham series. So we've all had our time in the trip. So we're lucky that we've got a number of people that are multi-skilled. Having said that, we have contractors on though too. We're not, we are 3 people full time, and our core studio is 3 people, but we have plenty of help because we could not have done all that with just 3 people.
That I was thinking, yeah.
We're not. That would be amazing if we could, but yeah, we've only been developing the game since February 2016. So we needed help. So we've had people helping with art assets, with audio. I've had some help on the design side with quest writing. So we've, these aren't full-time, not necessarily full-time roles. So our FTE, sits probably around 5 or 6 if you balance it out. But that still doesn't mean that there weren't probably an additional, if you include PR and marketing and stuff like that, 10 to 15 hands helping at certain points.
That's still a very small amount of people compared to probably what you're used to with the AAA. So that's, but having done that, you can also probably see where you could trim the fat, so to speak, anyway. So that's really, I know you guys describe yourself as micro AAA. Can you explain that?
So I believe there's another version of that called Triple I, which is indeed Triple I. I hadn't heard about that at the time, but yeah, for us, we've brought all the practices that we learned from AAA and distilled them down within the company. It's ingrained in our workflows. It's ingrained in all what we want to achieve. We're probably a little bit ambitious, which is good. We're happy. We like ambition, so. And, we want to make sure that what we're doing, even if we don't necessarily have the budget of AAA, we want to make sure that as best we can with what we have, where everything is this of quality? That's always what we go back to. Is this of quality? Can we do better than this? And so that's kind of where the the micro AAA comes from, for us.
Well, you definitely notice a sense of quality that, in just polish, from a company your size that you just don't normally see. And I really applaud you guys for that. But the core thing is awesome. It's just the gameplay itself. Like you said, crafting and, farming and, trading and all that. Can you explain that a little bit? Can you get a little more in depth on that? What people can expect?
Yeah. So, one of the things we brought into is, I love farming sim games, like Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, Stardew Valley. So I always wanted to work on something that was farming based. We wanted to make, and it sort of started out when we first did our demo, is this little core loop of an area, which was basically, crafting, trading, and we didn't even have farming in at that point. But then we opened up the world and added farming in. And we went, cool, because we'd always known we were going to make an open world game. So we're like, okay, now we need to do that more times.
Right.
But the problem with and it makes sense, and it's stupidity, I guess, to say that. But when you scale bigger, you also then have more space to fill. And that's where the adventure components sort of, really sort of came to the forefront of all of that as well. Is because we have space and we have things that we need to do to fill that space. There's very much a difference between empty and alive. You can, I think Shadow of the Colossus did that best. It managed to, actually have both. It was an empty game, but it was still very alive and a very wonderful place to visit. And so that was a big inspiration for us in how to, sort of build the world when we were scaling and make sure that we kept interest going throughout. But yeah. the trading and stuff, as you mentioned, that's all come about because we really wanted to provide people options for how to do things. If you don't want to farm, we're not going to force you to farm. I really hope you like to farm, though, because I like the farming. Mm-hmm. But again, it's up to every individual kind of what they want to do with their time in the game, and that's why those options are there. Is everybody wants to solve something in a different way,
and that's always great for the player. One of the other things is the music. How are you guys doing the music? Do y'all go through? Is it one of you guys, or did you bring someone in?
That's an outsource. So we use a company down in Melbourne, Australia. Stephen Schultz. It's through Sound Librarian, and he's done all of that.
Okay, I like the music. That's why I was like, the other thing that talking about the actual game itself, the biomes and the different areas that are in the game. I believe reading through some of the material, you guys said it's based on areas that you've actually lived. Is that
lived and visited? Yeah, absolutely. The real world that we live in is beautiful, and there's so much inspiration to take from that. It's just amazing. So one of the biome areas, like the taiga area, is Sunderwind Wilds. It's called. Mm-hmm. That's got the beautiful, tall, sort of yellow flowers, and that's based off of beautiful mustard seeds that were growing in the UK. Mm-hmm. You would train through just the middle of these farm fields, and they just acres of beautiful, glorious yellow flowers blooming. Just visiting Japan, we managed to go. We've been a few times, but we got down there one time during the sakura bloom season, and that was beautiful. Stunning as well too, to get there and see some of that as well. So world travelers, lived in a few countries along the way as well, but tried to take all those experiences and all the things and all the beauty that we found in the world and put it into Yonder.
Well, y'all live in a beautiful place right now in Brisbane, so has that influenced you guys? I mean, are you from that area originally, or
we're a bit of a hodgepodge. Most of let me see. One team member is actually a native Kiwi but lives here. I grew up in the U.S. I grew up in Oregon, out of Salem, mm-hmm. but have been here for over half my life now. And one is actually from Tasmania, so he doesn't get counted as a real Australian either. So, we've got a mixture of experiences that we bring in that respect. And yeah, absolutely, Australia is such an amazing place. The Squamble in the Sunderwind Wilds, that's actually a squirrel wombat, so that was taking inspiration from local wildlife as well too. Out in one of the areas that we haven't shown off yet, we have some beautiful coral bloom tree type things, and those were based off of some of the interesting corals from the Barrier Reef. Hopefully we'll see that again someday and be colorful again. Anyway, we'll move on from the Barrier Reef. But so absolutely, there's a lot of little inspirations from Australia as well.
So, when you guys started development of the game, what was kind of like, was it just, hey, I want to make a farming game, and then just kind of went from there, or can you take me through that process a little bit?
This is a very, very long process, and it involved lots of coffee and lots of eating good food at a French cafe in London while we sat down and worked out what the game was, because it's been bubbling around in my head for a while, but sat down and finally pulled it out of my head and slowly started to build up the prototype on that and work out how the play felt. And then once we started getting the prototype in order, we started talking with people just to make sure platform holders were aware that we're coming out, and
right.
all the fun business stuff, all the parts of the not fun making the game stuff. And then we kind of, from there, just worked out, what it would take to make it. Obviously, as everybody does, scope, time, and budget were off by a bit, but, we made it. We got here. But, Yeah, I mean, it was really just a process of just slowly for a long time, just incrementally eking out what is we going to do. I mean, mine was always the farming at the start.
Right.
Like I said, as we grew, we realized in playing that it needed more than that. And adventure was something we kind of wanted to tie into it, but it became, and like I said, adventure came more forefront as the world got bigger, because it's very true that, open spaces, you need something, and adventure games are great for large open spaces. So we wanted to, that sort of came to the foreground. But it's still, even with those changes, it's still the game that I wanted it to be. And I'm extremely happy because it's also got little imprints of what everybody else wanted it to be in there. And I think that's what actually makes it the best.
From what I've got to play so far, you definitely feel little bits of this and a little bit of that, but it's very cohesive. It gels really well together. So again, awesome job so far with what I've played. I know on the talking to other developers and what I've got to experience myself, though, what you start out with and what you end with generally aren't the same thing. I don't know many developers that it's exactly what they thought it would be, but generally it's what it needed to be. And that's, go ahead.
I was just going to say, absolutely, 100%, absolutely. That's kind of the nature of the beast. Things move and change. And I mean, so long as you're open and allow that flexibility in it, then it will still end up being what you wanted it to be. And it will actually be a better thing than what you initially wanted it to be. Well,
I know you guys are going on PC and PS4. What was the process like with getting it on a console? That's something, I know a lot of people actually that listen to the show would like to know. How has that process been?
So for us, it's actually been fairly painless. I know, I'm certain there's counter stories that will tell you it's been a painful process. For us, it's been pretty good. The biggest thing you have to do is, first and foremost, you need to set up a company. Mm-hmm. None of the big three consoles will talk to you until you have a company, because they want legal responsibility for any development kits or anything they might send out. So, immediately, just before you talk to them, have a company in place and then start talking with them. But for us, it was a bit of a different process anyway, because the friend of a friend type thing. When we were in the UK, we knew somebody who used to work in the strategic content team, which is Shahid's team, and they put us in touch with Shahid and his team. And that's so we went pretty much straight to the indie guys there, so that helped a lot in our process. But at the same time, having said that, for people who are starting out, if you ask around or talk to people, it is that 6 degrees of separation thing. You can probably find somebody that knows someone that knows someone, and if if you're willing to utilize your contacts, you can generally get an easy in somewhere along the way. The game still has to stand for itself, but the contact in was quite easy for us.
That's the one thing about gaming I've worked in other industries, entertainment industries. That's the one thing with gaming, though. It's kind of like everybody wants you to succeed.
Absolutely, yeah. The industry will not survive on only a few people being successful. We need lots of people to be successful.
It's such a great industry that we do that. So your game is going to be coming out on the 17th, I believe? 18th.
Yeah.
On everything at the same time everywhere? Is that pretty much the plan?
Yeah, so we're locking down final release dates for Steam, because Steam's a one-button worldwide, but Sony will do their standard territory launches at time. Mm-hmm. So there'll be a little bit, I think, of there's a definite overlap at times, but in some regions, I think it might come out first on PS4, and in other regions, it may end up coming out first on PC. We'll find out. We need to get that button hit soon.
So, thank you very much, everybody listening. I'll put a link in the show notes to I believe on PS4 it's still pre-orderable. I think there's a link, at least in the US market there. So I'll put a link for that, and I'll put a link to all of you guys' stuff in the show notes. And hey guys, we'll talk about the game more on the show as well when we can. And thank you again, Cheryl, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Told you guys, pretty awesome, and the game's pretty awesome. So if you have a PS4, check it out. You can go get it right now. You can get it on a PC as well, and support these guys. They've worked really hard on this game, and it's well worth the price of admission. So next up, I talked to Tim Jones from Rebellion, and anyone who knows me first knows. Anyone who really knows me knows I'm a huge 2000 AD fan. Big Judge Dredd, all the characters from 2000 AD, and I really, at some point, want to see them all in games from Rebellion, and listening to other sources, I've heard that they are talking about making games with other even indie developers if they have the right attitude and the right idea for games for the 2000 AD license. But unfortunately, a lot of people here in the States just really do not know much about 2000 AD other than the two movies. The first one was Stallone, and then the one with Carl Urban that came out a few years ago, and that one luckily has brought in some new fans. And I think it was around 2000, year 2000, Rebellion actually got 2000 AD, and has done a really good job of being the caretakers of the comics, and they want to do some really good stuff with it. One of the first games they did was Rogue Trooper, and now they're bringing it back out, updated. It looks really nice. I got to sit down and play a little bit of the alpha, and I'm really excited to see more. And of course, these guys are some of the best developers to do co-op multiplayer and co-op experiences, and it's great to see that with those licenses. The other game I got to play was Strange Brigade. We're gonna talk about both of these with Tim, but I really like Strange Brigade. I can't wait to sit down and actually play the entire game with everybody over at TFGP, and it's really fun. So sit back, and here's the interview with Tim.
Hi, I'm Tim Jones. I'm head of creative at Rebellion, and I'm here at E3 showing Strange Brigade and Rogue Trooper Redux.
So, Strange Brigade, I played a little bit of it. I like it, by the way.
Good. Thank you.
It's really good. Can you describe it a little bit to the people listening?
So, Strange Brigade is it's an action adventure, 1 to 4 player cooperative game. It's set in the 1930s. It's taking a very deliberate sort of tongue-in-cheek style, based off of the old Saturday morning matinee movie serials of the time, boys' own adventure novels, all of that. I
absolutely love the serial approach to that in there. That's next time kind of that feeling.
Yeah, we're really excited and pleased because of how that's come across to people, because you do something until you then show the world at large what you're doing. You have that nail-biting moment of are people going to get this? Do they like it? But the reaction's been fantastic.
Where did the idea kind of come from? Do you kind of recall that, or?
It's come from, in particular, Jason Kingsley, our boss. He has a particular fondness for that kind of era of boys' own adventure stuff, and it kind of evolved in conjunction with what we were doing with the game, and it was a confluence of events that was just this fits what we're doing, which is some adventure and daring do in the 1930s, quite tongue-in-cheek. We were being very, very deliberately not as serious as Sniper Elite and Zombie Army and that kind of tone. It's a bit of a breath of fresh air.
I was going to say that must have been kind of less stress with that kind of stuff, and it's fun. I played it co-op with somebody, and I did like the co-op nature of it. Is it only co-op, or is it?
You can play single player as well, absolutely. So it's still a fun experience there, and also because you've got all the different characters in there. We've got 4 playable characters. They're all different. They've all got their different powers and weapon specialities, and different areas of the maps that they can unlock, like secret areas as well. There's lots of incentive to like replay things as the different characters. So that's just as valid in single player as it is in cooperative. But it's also worth noting that we scale the difficulty and balancing depending on the number of people that are playing, and when you're doing drop in, drop out co-op as well, it scales dynamically if someone drops in or drops out, so you're not like suddenly overwhelmed with ridiculous numbers of enemies if one of your players decides to stop playing in the middle of a game. It's something we did on Zombie Army Trilogy, and that worked really well.
It looks like something that might actually be really well with streaming as well. Like,
yeah,
I could see that really working. When are we looking to be able to play it? Everyone else get to play it.
We aren't announcing a release date just yet. It's coming soon. We're focusing right now on like
just
getting it ready to our satisfaction. Done. It's kind of nice to be in that position where we're the masters of our own destiny in that respect. But rest assured, we are keen to get it ready for people to play as soon as we possibly can. It's in alpha right now, but we've still got a bit of work to do.
That's something I really like to see from developers. Is like it's done when it's done. Like I understand not everybody can do that. Like it's not but
it's not a straightforward thing to do. It's very easy to say, oh, why don't people take longer? A business is a business, and you have to get a game done. And if someone else is paying you to make the game, then like they pull the strings. For us at Rebellion, we self-publish. It's all our own IP. It's self-funded, so it's all entirely like under our control, which is really great.
Getting to that, I've been aware of Rebellion for a long time. I've been around you guys a couple times. But I like what you guys are doing with the company as a whole. It's really cool. You just seem like you just want to tell stories, and that's an amazing thing. I like. Well, comics, sure, we'll do that. You want games, we'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately
TV. We'll do that. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
I like that.
All things exciting and geeky, the stuff that we love, that we grew up with, that we continue to love. It's like, why not do that if we can? Exactly.
It's fun. That's the thing that you guys seem to be bringing to the table right now. There's a lot of fun factor, and I like that. Now, speaking of geeky, you guys are doing stuff with 2000 AD, and I know you can't talk about certain things, but you can talk about Rogue Trooper.
I can.
And I just played a little bit of that. Absolutely loved it. I'm a fan of 2000 AD. And so it was nice to see. I think the original was 2007?
2006 it came out, in fact. Yeah, over a decade ago. And, well, it was quite a labour of love for us at the time. It's certainly turned into something of, I guess you could use the words cult classic for it these days. We certainly felt like it was ahead of its time with a lot of the mechanics that it had in the game, cover mechanics and some of the squad-based stuff and, upgrading your abilities and things. There's all sorts of things you kind of take for granted these days, but there's a lot of depth to the gameplay. Plus, the story itself is awesome. I remember when I was a kid and my friend at school, like I must have been, 8 or 9 or something, and he showed me a copy of 2000 AD with this character, Rogue Trooper, in it, and I was like, I've been used to like the Beano and Dandy and that kind of real kid stuff.
Mind blown.
I was like, what is this? This is amazing. This is like so cool. And it's still a great story, 35 years later. The originals had the art from Dave Gibbons, who went on to do Watchmen and stuff. It's
great stuff.
It's just, it's a fantastic tale of essentially revenge and betrayal, and it makes a great game as well.
I like that you guys have kept the style from the comic. You can see it. You can see the DNA from it, and I really, really, really appreciate that.
I've had some fun with the remaster, if you like, because we've redone all the artwork and all the lighting, special effects, and changed some of the controls and stuff to make them a bit more contemporary as well. And one of the interesting things we did, like the Rogue Trooper character design in the original game, he had sort of baggier combat pants on because they seemed like a kind of cool and contemporary then. Whereas the original character in the comics always had like these really skin tight sort of combat ready, like no nonsense kind of trousers, and we've gone back to that for the new one, which
is funny. It's kind of contemporary now, though. So.
Yeah, it feels cool again. Skinny jeans are back in, but like, it also makes sense for the character, and like the reaction from 2000 AD fans has been really positive as well. So it's been a labour of love, as I say, and really excited to get it into people's hands and a wider audience than probably the original.
That's
game
what I'm
had.
really. I know as somebody that lived in Texas, I was probably the only kid I knew that liked 2000 AD and.
Well, good for you. Fly the flag. We appreciate
I flew it high, and it was nice, and I'm glad you guys are holding that property in a great light, and maybe the rest of the world will be able to see it a lot more. And with the other stuff you're doing, the show and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting times for 2000 AD and for Rebellion, definitely.
Yeah. So, speaking of Rogue, when can we expect that?
Rogue is going to be out this year, 2017. I'm not going to be more specific than that, but it's soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be coming out on PC and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and Nintendo Switch.
I see that actually right now on the thing, so that's awesome. So, if you guys, I mean, you can't talk about other things you're working on, but how was it to work on the Switch? Because that's something that I haven't really got to talk to devs about much.
It's really cool. I mean, we're working with another developer, TikTok Games, which is kind of something of a new experiment for Rebellion as well, because obviously we develop our own games, we publish our own games, but now with Rogue Trooper Redux, we're working with an external developer as well. They're doing the technology side of things and some of the art as well, but we're also doing a lot of the artwork and direction at our end. And they're a really great bunch of guys to work with, and they've got a lot of experience with Nintendo as far as I'm aware, working with the Switch from their perspective technically is really cool and no problem at all, because I certainly recall like going, right, well, we've got the game here, and we didn't have a Switch version at the time, but then they got the dev kits in, and it was so quick from that point to then go like, wow, here's the game on the Switch.
That's a really good sign, actually.
Yeah.
And I can play Rogue Trooper at Starbucks.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah.
Or on the toilet. Either way.
Any way you want.
So thank you very much. And we'll be sure to... Anything with Rogue Trooper, anything with you guys, we'll be sure to put on our site.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Tim was really fun to talk to. I really enjoyed that conversation, and I think we talked for another couple of minutes after that about 2000 AD and the Mega City 1 TV show, which I got no information, of course, because there's really not much to say other than hopefully that Carl Urban will be in it. That would be awesome. But needless to say, guys, go check out both of those games when they come out, and also pick up, if you haven't picked it up already, Sniper Elite 4. Really, really enjoying that game. We've done some streaming with it. Almost the entire crew picked it up, and with Kyle and I, the game's almost like a golfing excursion. Some kind of we kind of go, okay, see that Nazi at 400 meters. I'm going to shoot him in the testicles. Okay, cool. Let's try. Like it's a fun little thing. We run through areas. We go look for the Stone Eagles, and it's a great co-op experience. It's a great experience by itself, but as a co-op game, it is so much fun, and that's something that company really excels in, and it's so much fun to play with your friends, and they're doing such a great job with it. So guys at Rebellion, thank you very much for that, all those awesome experiences that I'm having with my friends. What's up? Oh, speaking of having fun with my friends, we all got Dead by Daylight recently, and we've been running through it. We found out that we have several people in the group that would make amazing serial killers, so now I'm having Donnie watch them. A little nervous, especially Kyle. But we had a great experience with it. Like I said, we've done some streaming. Go check out our YouTube and see what kind of hijinks we've got into. But here's the group talking about their time with Dead by Daylight.
With us today, we've got Brooke.
Hi.
We've got Lachlan.
What's up?
We've got...
In debt.
Well, okay, from now on you'll be known as In Debt.
Will.
Yes. So who are you, really?
Bree.
Bree, thank you. We've got Mary.
Arrow.
We've got Kyle.
Hello.
What? Oh, are you just somber?
You sounded like a phone sex operator.
Hello.
Roz.
I don't want to
get a job. She quit Monsters Inc. and got a job.
Well,
I don't want to
have you
call
seen
that
Pixar movies lately, unfortunately?
True that.
Yeah, they're all sequels. So, and then we've got Kyle.
You mean Mike?
Kyle 2, sorry, Mike. Well, you were so underwhelming that I just like...
Because I said hello?
It was like a half-mast hello. Like,
yeah.
You're like,
And of course, unfortunately, Donnie couldn't make it today because he's filing, stuff. I don't know, golf or something. So,
How do you file golf?
I
fucking know.
Ask Donnie. That's the
Look,
thing.
I'm going to let y'all know y'all all hit the table
Yeah.
once, and I'm sitting here with just drinking beer.
So,
Every time you put it down, it's going to go plunk.
oh,
Holding mine.
he's gonna make his bottle just hover.
And it's pinky out, you bastard.
Yes.
I don't care. I just don't wanna watch it.
guys, I'm back. This is the first time. Yeah, I actually made it.
Okay, I'm the only one
Oh,
clapping.
yeah.
He's back. All right.
E3 was awesome. I mean, it was even better that you guys weren't there. But
You.
no. Missed you guys a lot. It was crazy this year. We've already talked about
Missed
it.
our audience or us?
No. You know what the cool? Okay.
Neither.
You missed neither. Okay. Something really cool happened today. Went out to lunch.
Did you get free spaghetti?
I got free food. Yes. They saw the shirt. Yeah, I do eat food. They saw the shirt and saw, oh wait, you're Fathergamer, and they're like, I'm a fan. I was like, that's cool. And he
Where
goes,
was this at?
I'm not going to tell because I don't want the person necessarily to get in trouble.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, no charge.
Oh.
And I was just like, okay, so officially we've made $12 as far as I'm concerned.
Nice.
So that was kind of
I want
awesome.
spaghetti now.
It wasn't spaghetti, but
Ask Jonathan's any leftover lasagna.
yeah. So everyone at home, you can have lasagna too.
Fuck off.
So it's good. It's good. I'm back. Things are gonna get kind of back to normal, but with us, that's not.
There's no normal.
Yeah, there's no normal.
He's talking about normal.
So I guess we should go straight into what's in your system.
What's in your system?
It's always in your system.
Games? Come on.
I'm pretty sure if you had VR goggles, you would basically be walking around.
I'm
They've
wondering
actually
who has it?
made.
Yeah, that's true.
They've actually made almost hentai for those VR headsets.
Oh no, they have made
Yeah, I was gonna say,
hentai for
Japan
those
probably
things.
has a
No,
lot.
there's-
They
I've
have-
only heard of the soft porn.
No,
No,
unfortunately.
it's up in there. No.
Yeah,
There's a lot of lonely
with that
programmers
Dolby
out
stereo
there.
headset with those tentacles and everything. Like, we got invited, I think it was 2 years ago to E3 to an entire VR porn thing, and
Oh,
You
really?
told me about
I
this.
was
Yeah.
Just to say fuck it.
I must not have. I must have been asleep whenever you were talking about this.
well, yeah, we didn't really we didn't really go to it. I'm making quotation marks here, but we did talk to them, and I did see one presentation, and I can never unsee that again. So, also, it was when they did the relaxation VR over there too, and I fell asleep and farted.
They have virtual weddings. They have virtual weddings now.
Way to represent.
It's true.
Look
I
at the
mean,
Fathergamer.
I was
over
so
the
relaxed.
He just fart.
Yeah, I was so relaxed. I'm pretty sure I could have put that on the box quote. It's just like Fathergamer, dash fart.
They have virtual weddings now where you can marry an anime character from a game.
Is it specifically from that game or just any anime character?
Excuse me.
I think it's
That'll
from
be
like
in
in
there.
that game. Yeah,
Ooh, that tastes like
Never mind.
beer.
they may end up porting stuff in later, but yeah.
That's terrible. It's I'm sorry. I don't know.
What? I can be real life married to you and virtually married to an anime character. It's not weird.
Oh my gosh. This is becoming Futurama.
Yeah, no kidding. So guys, now that we're in what's in your system and it's not tentacles, let's
Yeah,
start off.
feather tickling.
Let's start off. One thing we have been playing together is Dead by Daylight, and we've got some great serial killers in this group.
Would you like me to play and be absolutely horrible? Or would you like me to be like like on a stream.
We all suck.
I'm just
But no,
my
but
strategy
it's
is
stuck with
distraction.
with
Or
glory. I
would
mean,
you
you're
like
having
me to-
fun.
Or would you like me to practice
Are
on my
you-
own and get good and then join a stream?
No, just join.
Either way,
join.
it's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. The
so
thing
much
is, if
fun.
you're gonna watch,
care about.
because that's the thing with our streaming that I want to make sure people understand.
I suck.
Is like you're not gonna go watch Fathergamer streaming and go, you know what, this is how to game. Right? I mean, Kyle and I, for
There's
some
gonna be
things,
some mistakes.
you are really good.
I think out of like the 20 plus games I've played, I think only 3 people have lived.
See, you're actually pretty good. Yeah.
See, Kyle has
And-
no life.
and I'm good at
He has
killer.
no mercy.
Yeah,
let's
you
just
two
say
are
it.
both good at killer, even though I love.
I murdered some Nazis.
I am the Wiggle King.
You'll hear that. I'm sorry.
So we've been playing. All of us have pretty much played, right?
Yeah, I think she's
Yeah.
the only one that hasn't.
Yeah.
So
Bree-
I mean,
Bree
Brooke
has
hasn't
one.
played it, but she's
I played once.
seen it.
I played once
Unless
while you
Well,
were at work.
okay,
So-
I'll put it to y'all this way.
And I got so scared, I have to have someone that I panic.
The thing about our streaming, the thing about our gaming, is we're in it to have fun. So I mean, there are moments where we do get a little frustrated, from time to time when things don't go right. You
A
mean
little
all the time?
frustrated?
Well, I loved the when Oakley, a friend of ours of the show. Oakley,
he was getting frustrated at me.
I showed him the picture, like the post. If you look on my Instagram at Fathergamer, there's two or three pictures of the game of us playing, and there's one of me hiding, and that's where I was hiding the entire time. And Oakley finally saw the picture today, and he was like, "Son of a bitch!" And I was like, "Yeah, the generator was to the left, and the escape hatch was to the right." And so I basically had to just wait for Lachlan to die.
Lachlan was actually telling me the story of when Kyle found the trapdoor and won against Oakley, so Oakley got a perk or whatever it's called, insta kill, and saved it for Kyle.
Yeah. Because I was the only one who trapdoored to that.
So it
Oakley gets salty like a teenager.
He
girl.
does.
I do like
Does Oakley
all of a sudden I got like Foghorn Leghorn.
Love you,
I'll say
Oakley.
now. My MO is basically like, okay, I'm bringing the party to you guys. Thing is, okay, I would love for all of us to escape. That's awesome. I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're a
if
ginger.
that's not going to happen, then
You
I'm
will
sorry.
forsake everyone
I will.
else.
I will totally. Because I'm just like, I knew you were right underneath that window trying to get that generator, Lachlan, and he was right behind me, and I was like,
I know. Fuck you.
I loved you guys.
I was like, well, I was counting on his greed.
I left them also, like Oakley and Kyle and Lachlan. As soon as I got that one of those doors open,
yeah, it's gone.
I was like clunk 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 while the guy's like chasing after you.
Well, I
after
like
Lachlan.
I was.
That
And I'm
goddamn
like,
game.
I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah. There's a game where he hunted him 90% of
But
it.
Yeah.
he didn't give a shit about
It was like-
anyone else.
it was
in the
this-
entire
I think
game.
it was
It was a guy.
Wraith?
No, it was a Wraith.
It was the Wraith.
It was
Yeah,
a
that's
Wraith
right.
going after him. He went invisible to visible and
Yeah.
literally went after him the entire
And
game.
because he was distracted by Lachlan the entire time, I'm like clunk 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 clunk.
Yeah,
clunk.
Everybody else finished the game in like 2 minutes because he was after me the whole goddamn game.
I basically, I'll jump through a window and there's somebody there, and I'm just like, please let the greed of that person's closer take over.
Mhm.
And 9 times out of 10,
It
but every so
happens,
often, like Kyle will just go screw it and go after me. He just keeps going after me.
I'm a fucking team player.
Yeah.
I try to save people.
No, I'm talking like you try to kill me. And so
Oh, yeah, that
yeah,
too.
Monster.
Yeah, because you're just like, I've got to get him down.
This
He's my
sounds
wily
like-
asshole.
This sounds super entertaining and all. I'm still biased against the game because I was trying to sleep because I had to be up early, and all of a sudden I hear, "God damn it! Don't you fucking do it!"
My wife actually
to my
the same
struggle.
night. It was the same night. She's like, God, would you stop trying to kill people and go to bed? And I was like,
Bree,
It's-
welcome to my
it's
struggle
so
every fucking night.
It's
yeah, it was like
that
5 in the morning, and
What
that's
was-
the great thing
wait.
about that game.
It wasn't Dead by Daylight, but what was the game you were playing where it was like 3 a.m. and I had to
Yeah,
be
it
up
was-
to work the next
was
morning and you're like,
Sniper.
I fucking did it! Oh shit, Brooke's asleep!
And then you just hear in the background, I'm not asleep.
I know.
But that's the good thing.
I was
about-
reading,
That's
but,
the
like,
thing
it was
though
funny.
about that game. Like, there's some issues, and I'm curious about long-term playability with the game. But
I remember the game, by the
What was
way.
it?
It was For Honor, and
yeah,
it
you're
was
right.
4v4,
Oh, yeah,
and
that
it
was
was
it.
deathmatch, and I killed 3 people by myself. It was 1v3, and I killed all of them. It was the greatest. And if
yeah,
any of
you're
y'all
playing
have
with
played that
Nina.
game, that thing is fucking hard.
All I know,
That's why.
well,
all I know is that if I had been dressed appropriately, you'd have heard me yelling. Y'all would have heard me yelling through the freaking headphones. I was pissed.
Why don't you just come out there raging and naked? That's what
Yeah,
comedians do.
we're-
That's what we do all the
Because you're not
time.
alone at the house right now.
I'm just
Okay.
happy when we played late at night. It was like, what, 3 o'clock the time I played with you guys?
well, yeah,
I have heavy sleepers.
Look,
Even though I was screaming half the time, I have heavy
the
sleepers.
thing though I really love about that game is, it's amazing as a group. It's okay, like playing with randoms. I mean, that's
I've
okay.
been having a
I know you have a blast.
We have
Because you're
to.
a killer.
Well,
Well,
I've been doing
I don't think I'd want to play other than the killer though with people I don't know. I just don't.
I love, like,
Mary
play with
survived
friends
on
is
5
so
minutes. The
funny.
dumb killer.
Well, I've had a few.
did.
I've had a few of
I'm so
those
proud of
where they
you.
just look at you, the
Amazing.
killers, pretty much.
I felt so
Yeah.
bad. There was a game, like, in that game, I hate campers as killers. Like, it's like, dude, you can put somebody on there 3 times, they insta die.
Yeah, you just keep
And
bobbing back and forth.
As
on
a
the map.
killer, I was going against people that had all purple perks.
Oh, this earlier?
No, and I was like,
Couple
oh
days
my
ago,
fuck, I have to camp. I was sitting there, I put the first person on the hook. No, so people would come and get them. And I sat there camping, I was like, I'm so sorry, I fucking hate myself right now, I'm such a dick. And the guy sent me a message, he's like, you want to help me pitch a tent next time? I'm so sorry.
So far, everyone, really like the game, and we'll continue to play it. We'll continue to stream it. It's, I'm glad we all got it. So yeah, we're gonna probably pick up Friday the 13th at some point and try that out. Like you said, this 8-player lobby.
Yep, it's a big one.
We will definitely pick up.
So, guys, that's our show. Thank you for listening. You can check out all of our old episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, and a few other places. Definitely check our show notes out, and we'll have the links. Also, check out the show notes for all of the links to the games that we've talked about in this episode. And while you're at it, why don't you check out all of our merchandise that we have? Go to fathergamerpodcast.com, and we've got everything there. All the links for the t-shirts, the mugs. I mean, who wouldn't want to drink out of a cup with my face on it? I mean, come on now. And everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you very much. It's amazing that we have so many listeners, and we picked up quite a few new ones in the last couple of months. So thank you guys. Let us know what you think. We always want to hear from you guys. And again, thank you. And remember, as always, achieve greatness.